Good morning. Well, Houston, Texas. All right, here we go. So I am glad to be here with you guys today. I will have a couple of meetings that I'm going to have to leave for, but I'm going to keep things running. But as we wait for the testimony of Charlie Adelson to commence, I want to share with you, yes, Katie Magbanua's second proffer, or what I like to call, Georgia's evidence to convict Charlie Adelson. So certainly, without question, this is going to have the hard, cold evidence that Georgia finally reveals why and how it is that she has come to know Charlie Adelson is the real killer of Dan Markell. I mean, this is going to be compelling. No question about it. We're going to see Katie Magbanua crying and begging for God's forgiveness. I want to come clean. I want to tell the whole story. I want it all out there. Right? That's what we're going to get for something that will make Georgia go from I have no evidence, I can't prosecute Charlie Adelson, I can't come on TV and say that he's guilty. I cannot do any of that because I don't have the evidence, quote unquote. Now, I will also want to share with you very quickly, because I did in fact find my clip that I was talking about yesterday. So let's see. Let's see what the esteemed prosecutor has to say about Charlie Adelson. Ugh, I hate this website. It's got that huge flag.
Irresistibly smooth chocolate to put the world on pause.
Make it go away.
Lindor, made to melt you by the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Black and white top.
For police, the undercover sting was the icing on the cake in their 2-year quest to bring those behind Kell's murder to justice.
You want to make sure that you take care.
Well, there we go. All right, here, finally. Okay, so here we go.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because only the Sleep Number Climate 360 smart bed lets you each sleep up to 13 degrees cooler or warmer on either side.
I am
while
so
you both sleep at your ideal level of firmness, comfort, and support. Your Sleep Number setting. And now our all-new next-gen smart beds have temperature benefits, so you sleep better night after night. And now the new Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is only $8.99. Sleep next level. Shop for a limited time at Sleep Number.
Black and white top.
For police, the undercover sting was the...
Okay, make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay, so this is the video that I was telling you guys. Hybrid Pisces. Hey girl, how are you doing? So glad that you're back. All right. So very quickly, because we're gonna have court very soon. I want to show this interview with Georgia, and I want you to listen to just how compelling, how confident old Georgia is about her ability to prosecute Charlie Adelson. Here we go.
Icing on the cake in their 2-year quest to bring those behind Dan Markell's murder to justice.
You want to make sure that you take care of what he's going through.
Last May, police submitted these arrest affidavits against Charles Adelson and Catherine Magbanua, detailing the hidden camera encounter, the suspected payoffs, and those revealing police interviews. While police believe they have the goods to prove Adelson and Magbanua are responsible for the murder of Daniel Markell, the prosecutor says it's not good enough.
I don't have evidence to charge the Adelsons. I can't go on TV and accuse them of murder without that evidence. And right now, I don't have sufficient evidence to do that.
But at the very least, there's probable cause for 2020 to ask Charlie Adelson a few questions.
Dr. Adelson, were you involved in a plot to kill Dan Markel? Before the shooting, did you ever discuss hiring a hitman?
Adelson let the back of his $100,000 Mercedes.
Oh, okay. So he's clearly guilty of murder because he drives a $100,000 Mercedes. Is that correct? Is that right? Is that the country that we now live in? That if you go to medical school, you rack up over $200,000 in medical bills that you must pay back, and then you proceed to work 60 hours a week to make the money to pay back your student loans, then you're not allowed to use your money to buy things that you like? Does that make a guy guilty? Because according to mainstream media, it certainly does. And according to Georgia, in her own words, less than a year before they arrest this man, she is doing a public interview and she's saying, we just don't have the evidence. Just can't do it. Don't have the evidence. We got the trigger man. We got a guy, Lewis, who was already under federal indictment. Somehow he comes out and says, oh, yeah, totally. The dentist did it. I don't know the dentist's name. I don't know what he looks like. We just called him the dentist. One of Katie's friends. This is the heart of Georgia's case. And everyone in the true crime community and everyone in mainstream media will tell you this is a slam dunk case. 0% chance of acquittal, quote unquote. Because you got Katie Magbanua, the biggest proven liar of all time. Lewis, who is under federal indictment, who's willing to say whatever he has to say to get a deal. And then the crazed, out of control, alcoholic drug addict who's so out of control that Katie says he never knows what's going on. He never knows what the date is. He can't tell you if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He can't tell you if it's 2005 or 2015. The man is so deranged from the number of substances and chemicals that he kept in his body 24 hours a day that he had no idea, no frame of reference. According to Katie, he could not keep a job. He could never tell her where he was, what he was doing, because he was constantly zonked out of his mind. This is Georgia's case, y'all. This is her case. Now, so Katie Magbanua, she is finally seen the light. She's had a come to Jesus moment. She wants to right all of her wrongs. She's got a life in prison. She wants to make sure the truth is finally told for the good of the family. Don't forget that heartwarming moment yesterday. Oh, for the good of the family. Just for the good of the family. I want to tell the truth. All right. So let's see what old Katie has to say after you've already heard from the mouth of the prosecutor, Georgia, who's got, I might say, large political aspirations. Let's just see what her star witness, her new, the new evidence that is going to convict Charlie Adelson, okay? And let me promise you this. No one in Tallahassee gives a damn about the Latin Kings. No one cares about Katie Magbanua. Nobody cares about Lewis. Nobody cares about Sigfredo. These people don't exist in the sphere of Tallahassee. None of them. But Dan Markel, the young law professor, hotshot attorney, working on the U.S. Court of Appeals, which would have opened him up a spot to work with the United States Supreme Court. He did matter tremendously to the city or the county of Tallahassee. He did. Katie Magbanua is a nobody. She makes a little bit of money carrying bottles. Lewis is even less of a somebody. He commits crime. That's it. Life of crime. His family is the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings, they sell children for profit. They peddle fentanyl for profit. Killing to them is a no-brainer, any more than the way I will stamp on top of a cockroach. Human life doesn't matter to the Latin Kings unless you are in their family. If you are in their family, they will kill to protect you. But everybody else out there, it's a dog-eat-dog world. They don't care. They will sell your child for money. They will feed your kids fentanyl. They don't care. And this is their princess right here. Katie Magbanua is a Latin King princess. So let's see what kind of jaw-dropping, powerful evidence and admissions that she brings to the prosecutor to make the prosecutor go from a position of, I simply do not have the evidence. I don't have it. And less than a year later, she is arresting Charlie Adelson.
Shackled the whole time too.
Yes.
Yeah, Katie,
That's-
shackled.
that's
You're a
kind of
murderer.
policy thing for your hair. Shackled, right? Have to stay on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jail.
Yeah. Because you're at the courthouse versus being like in a secure facility. Okay, so we're here because your lawyer reached out to us and said that he spoke with you after the last time the three of us came down to Ocala and spoke with you, and that you had some more information or really wanted to come off everything and kind of lay it all out there. Is that what happened?
Not quite. I don't know.
Okay. Tell me what happened. What your understanding of coming back up here was.
That you guys wanted to talk more about, I guess, the situation or the interview.
Okay. You know, when we left that interview, you were still holding back some stuff. Remember, you and I kind of had that understanding. Yeah. You were still kind of uneasy and holding back.
I'm sorry, Georgia.
I'm not
He was
necessarily
lying.
holding back, but I'm just having a really difficult time trying to remember everything that's happened and how it's happened. Like, remember I told you that it's very difficult for me to kind of separate from what I've learned to everything that, like, you know, what we've discussed.
Right. Like what you learned in the trial versus
Yes.
everything that.
Because it goes hand in hand. And I know you guys try to tell me, like, not to try to separate the situation, but how can I not? It makes sense with certain things that's happened because of what I've learned from the trial.
Okay.
Make no mistake about it. This user of humanity is there in that office for one reason. She is there to figure out a way to try to get out of prison, or at least to get some of her prison time reduced. She has no other motivation than her own skin. That's all this woman cares about from the beginning of time. She came into a life not like your life, not a life where people love you and they protect you and they, encourage you to learn how to do math and to learn how to spell and learn your vocabulary words. And then they tuck you into your clean bed every night with the kiss on your cheek and tell you mom loves you or dad loves you. This girl did not come from that environment. This girl came from an environment where children are commodity. She has learned that it's all about number one and staying alive. She will exploit anyone or anything for her own survival. Make no mistake about that.
So when we left, you and your attorney had a conversation, and he reached out to us saying to do another interview. I mean, do you mind telling us kind of what your conversation was? I'm not trying to anything privileged, but as far as like what made the decision for him to reach out for us to come back and talk with you.
I'm actually kind of lost about that. Yeah, because it wasn't. I spoke to Tara about it.
Okay.
And I don't know if like she related anything to Chris.
Okay.
But I haven't spoken to Chris.
You haven't spoken to Chris. No. It was just Tara that you spoke to?
Yes.
Okay. When you spoke with Tara, did you had come off of it any information, or did y'all have a conversation about maybe remembering some more stuff?
It was not even like about remembering. It's just that like I said, like when you guys had left from our initial interview, like you guys wanted me to remember things. And I told her, I was like, it's very difficult because it's like, I don't remember a lot of things. And I did mention to her that you guys want me to separate from things that I've learned and from, what did happen. And I'm like, if there's things that you guys can show me, like something that'll.
How many times have we heard her say, I don't remember? In 3 minutes, how many times has she said, I don't remember? I don't remember. I don't remember. Now she's saying in Katie's speech, I'm here to find out what you know, Georgia. I'm here to learn about what you guys know. Why would she want to do that? Why would she want to know? As long as this prosecutor is willing to speak with her, she is seeking and searching for information, because information in a penitentiary, well, that is power and that is money in the bank. Information. If she can get information, if she can find out what Georgia knows and what Georgia needs to know, then Katie can make up another lie. She can make up another lie and exchange it for, I don't know, privileges. Privileges in prison. Possibly early time off, house arrest, maybe. But first, Katie's got to get her foot back in that prosecutor's office. So the attorney comes to the prosecutor and says, well, Katie's been remembering some things. She remembers. She's got some new information. So Georgia sits down and says, oh, okay, so you now have some new evidence, because I can't arrest Charlie Adelson without evidence. I need to arrest Charlie Adelson. I need this story about the murder of Dan Markle as a stepping stone to my political motivations. And no one cares that you guys killed Dan Markle. I need a story that'll get on 2020. I need the Adelsons.
I'll jog my memory because my brain's mush. Like it's very hard. And just this week alone, it's been very traumatic. Even being back. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I've been stuck in confinement. I mean, I've literally, since I've been here for like the past 7 days, I've been out for like 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
2 hours off of the whole, like.
Yeah, because they have you in confinement.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's start here. Okay. Separate, the difference between.
Now, do you know
experience what you've?
Do you want to know why they've got Katie Magbanua in isolation? When she says, just being back here this week, I've been out of my cell 2 hours, being back here, quotation marks. Who knows why she's saying being back here in quotation marks? I'll tell you why. Because she's part of the Latin Kings. And they cannot confine her in a Florida prison. So she is out of state. Georgia brings her back in to say, Katie, oh my God, I need some evidence. Give me something. Does this sound like a prosecutor who is following the evidence to prosecute a crime? Or does this look like a woman who's trying to build her next stepping stone?
Experience what you've talked to, what you've done, versus what you've heard from other people, or because those are two different kind of memories. When you experience something, you do it, you're involved in it, you're involved in the actions of it. That's a different kind of memory than something you just learn in a trial or you just read in a book.
Yes.
You understand the difference between those two? Okay. Let's talk about those experiences, not the memories of the things you've seen and learned, but the experiences you had that led up to this murder. Okay. That's what I want, and I need you to kind of walk us through it. I know you gave us a little more than you said. I'd never talked about this, so it was kind of hard at the last one. So I need you to talk about that. Okay. So talk about those experiences. I know when you and Charlie started dating, we went through that timeline. Just walk me through those experiences, not the things that you remember reading.
Okay. Well, I mean, even reading stuff, it's like, this is like things that like my attorney has like showed me. Like if she would show me like a text message, I'd be like, okay, I kind of, I would remember.
Right. And I
the
understand
situation.
I'm not expecting you to remember text messages exactly what you've texted someone. I'm not expecting you to remember verbatim.
Georgia, she doesn't remember anything because she doesn't know. It never happened.
This isn't a normal thing for any normal person to go through. That it's significant enough that you can remember if you had a conversation about hiring somebody, if you've had a conversation about how much money, or if you were going to get paid, you were going to be taken care of. You those are things you can remember. You don't have to remember verbatim what happened, but how it happened, how it unfolded is what I want.
Okay. Well, that's where my whole dilemma has been because of the whole situation where I told you about that paper. Mm-hmm. I don't know the facts that's in that paper.
Oh gosh, she's having a dilemma, people. She's serving life in prison. She's the only person that would have been able to tell Lewis and Sigfredo who the hell Dan Markle is or anything else. But she's got a dilemma. She never knew that Dan was supposed to die. Charlie never said it. Georgia's asking for information, and all she can say is, I don't know, Georgia. Why don't you tell me what you know, Georgia? Then I can make up a lie. But Georgia's saying, no, just tell me what you know. Just tell me what you know. Oh, well, that's my dilemma. You see, I don't know a damn thing. Listen to what you are hearing and then explain it to me how they've got Charlie Adelson on the stand for murder.
And that's why I've always wanted to.
But the conversation leading up to that paper, before we even got to that paper, there had to be some kind of understanding before that paper was put in an envelope and then, what was it, your diaper bag or something?
Yes.
Yeah, there had to be a conversation leading up to that.
Well, yeah, like Charlie, I told you from Halloween, I think that's one of my first recollections of him even stating anything about hurting his brother-in-law, but that's not like what he had stated, like he was just saying that his sister's.
Charlie Adelson knew this woman a couple of weeks. WEEKS, weeks, not months, not years, weeks. And this man driving $100,000 Mercedes, running around doing surgery 60 hours a week. He's going to get in the car with a young Filipino bottle girl and say, hey, Katie, can you hook me up, man? I trust you so much. I need to get a guy beat up. Oh, really? Have you ever worked to build a company? Have you ever put your time and your reputation on the line to build up a practice with a reputation that people will say, "Oh, I need a dental implant. I'm going to go to the Adelson Implant Institute." Now he's just going to go up to a young woman he's known for 2 weeks, and he's going to sit in her car and say, "Hey, Katie, I got a guy that I need to get beat up. I'll make it worth your time. I'll give you some money, but I need him beat up, and I need someone to do this for me that I trust."
Was going through stuff, and that his sister was going through stuff, and just this is like within weeks or maybe months of just him just talking about it, but not really, like there wasn't really anything happening at that point until he had given that paper and then obviously
Before he gave you that paper, he had to know something, that you had something lined up or you could make something happen.
Well, that's what my whole confusion was, that like why would he even like have trusted me with something like this? Or
You had to give him something to make him trust you. You had to say.
Now that comes from her first and second trials, where the defense says to her, "Katie, you knew the guy 2 weeks. Why is he going to just trust you and say, I need to get this guy killed?" That was from the first trial. Now it's turned into, no, he didn't say killed. He said, just rough him up a little. Just beat him up. This girl's story just changes and moves. Not even like Jell-O. It's more like white queso sauce.
Say something to make him think that you could make this happen for him.
Well, that's where like my concerns are too. Like my question, not concerns, but like my questions, because of like, did he know about Sigfredo? Like, how much did he know about Sigfredo? I mean,
Sure,
I'm pretty sure
the dentist knows Sigfredo. How's that possible, Katie? How is that even remotely possible? That is the silliest comment for you to make. And it's one that illustrates that you're just simply manipulating this prosecutor.
It's how I serve. It's just a good mindset and a model for unexpected twists and turns.
I'm so sick of these
spoken about Sigfredo, but like just to express like what I've been going through with him.
When we were down and Ocala and spoke to you,
yeah,
you said he put it in the bag and told you not to touch it, to give it to him.
Yeah.
Okay. So there had already been a conversation for him to know that you had with him, you had with Charlie.
Yes.
For him to know that you were going to be given this information and Sigfredo's going to be taking care of it. Get to that. That's the conversation I want to hear about.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not like one specific probably conversation. It's through the times, like, oh, do you know somebody that can do this?
Okay. Tell me details about all those different times. Best details you can remember.
She doesn't know, Georgia.
That's what sticks out to my head is the Halloween. That's probably one of the ones that stick out. What he mentioned that to me about.
What did he mention?
About his sister having a hard time with her husband. And then from there, he probably mentioned, I mean, like, he's like, I need somebody that, that can take care of this. And from there, like, he just probably kept talking about it. And then I don't ever remember saying specifically, oh, that, yeah, I have somebody for this, but not saying that it's Sigfredo. Okay. And I don't know when I had approached Sigfredo about it.
I don't know.
To tell him about it, but obviously I never said it was for Charlie.
I don't know.
I understand that. You probably kept both of them in the dark as to who.
I don't know.
But the conversation, the planning of it, that what was going to happen. He says, I need you to take care of this, take care of something. I need you to find somebody to do this. Okay, what was he saying take care of? Like, I know he's discussed it.
Under my assumption at that time, it was, to beat up this guy that's giving his sister a hard time. Okay. Don't know when it transpired from that to him getting murdered. And that's
I don't know.
I was confused with the whole situation, and I don't know when I learned about
I don't
him being
know.
murdered till later on.
So here's my thing. So a murder happened.
Yeah.
There is no communication between Sigfredo and Charlie. The only communication back and forth between them and Sigfredo, the Adelsons and Sigfredo, which is really Charlie, right, is you. So
Okay.
at some point, there's got to be a communication going through you to Sigfredo to let him know it's a murder. Charlie understood that that's what he wanted. Sigfredo understood that that's what he wanted. And you're saying you're the only in between of those two, and you're saying you don't understand that that's what they want. That's what,
because I didn't know what was like written in that paper.
I didn't know.
Like that's where like I'm confused about, and that's what I didn't know about.
I didn't
know.
know.
It's still like, and I know I get it. It's hard to understand it, but this is my whole dilemma of the whole situation since
I don't
day
know.
one, because I'm not getting the answers, and I've been kept out of the loop too. But I am the go-between, and I am, like going back and forth.
I'm the go-between, but I don't know a damn thing.
Even my confusions with my phone calls, it's not. I don't know details or anything about it.
Right. Okay. So after the murder, after we did the wiretap and all that stuff.
Yes.
You and Charlie met up multiple times. Last time we met, you would only tell us about the stuff that you knew we knew that was on recording. There was a couple conversations that you and Charlie met up and that you had that we know, because we had surveillance. We know that you guys had those conversations, and you have yet to tell us what happened in those. That's after the murder. That's after you know that Sigfredo's been arrested. That's after you know that the cat's out of the bag. You guys are discussing this.
Listen to Georgia feeding her the story.
So at that point, tell me how that conversation went. Because at that point, Dan Markel is dead, because it's been 2 years past him being killed. Okay. He's already dead at that point. So you knew he was dead not long after it happened, when it all hit the news, I'm sure.
When it hit the news, when Sigfredo got arrested?
I'm talking about after you knew Dan Markel was dead before Sigfredo got arrested.
I don't think I knew that he was dead.
I don't know.
You went to Charlie's house the night that they got back and picked up the money to pay them.
I don't know.
And knew it was done. You told us that at Ocala.
No, Georgia, she doesn't know.
Okay, this is...
She only knows what you tell her, Georgia.
Okay, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years after. The bump was 2 years after. So I'm saying now we're at the bump.
Georgia,
So
you want to know why she doesn't know? Let me explain to you why she doesn't know, Georgia. Because this so-called Katie, the intermediary, Charlie Adelson, the mobster, gangster, brother-in-law killing madman, doctor, in between surgeries, he's just not ordering the hits on various people, right? Because he's got so much free time during the day. These conversations between Charlie and this woman never happened, Georgia. They didn't happen. How else do you explain the fact that this woman knows how to get Sigfredo and Lewis up to Tallahassee to kill Dan Markel, something that was all over the internet and the news, was the murder of the professor, and she knew that her Mark, the rich doctor, she knew that he said, that's my brother-in-law, and he's making my sister miserable. And it was Katie and Sigfredo and Lewis that said, you know what? We could totally set this guy up. We could totally frame this guy. If Dan Markel, if he dies, then Charlie Adelson's screwed. We can set him up and make everybody, he already knows there's contention between my sister and ex-brother-in-law. We can totally get money out of him. So killing Dan Markel was just part of Katie's payday. That's all it was. Just keep listening. And as this interview goes on, you can hear Georgia telling Katie what to say.
After this man was killed, Sigfredo killed him for Charlie at this point, whether you
I didn't know that.
At that point,
it was Sigfredo. I never knew that it was Sigfredo.
Well, Sigfredo and Luis, right? You knew the two of them.
I didn't know. That's the problem, that I never knew, because I gave that paper to Sigfredo. Under my assumption, I thought Sigfredo, why would, that's why when I, during the trial and I'm seeing that he was up in Tallahassee and all of that, it's like, why would he be the one? I would think that he would just give it off to somebody else, or he never spoke to me about that. And that's why I was so adamant about wanting to speak to him, because I wanted answers myself.
Because she doesn't know.
That never happened.
Okay.
She doesn't know, Georgia.
You mean to tell me that you had no clue that he came up to Tallahassee? I'm pretty sure there was a phone call that after they did it, I think, was it Ocala or Gainesville, something like that. They stopped and they called and they had a phone call with you on the way back down to South Florida from Tallahassee right after the murder.
He never told me that he was going to Tallahassee. Sigfredo doesn't tell me these things. Like, he doesn't tell me where he goes, what he does. It's not even that it was this situation, but whenever he does anything, me and Sigfredo have always been in and out of each other's lives.
Right.
When it was good, like I told you, it was good. But when it was bad, I didn't care. I had 2 kids that I was taking care of. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have certain answers that I wish I had, or else this interview would be a lot easier and I would be able to provide you guys with the information that you need.
He has no answers about Charlie's role because she never spoke to Charlie about killing Dan Markle.
Those are the things that we kind of need. How did you know to go to Charlie's house to pick up the money that night?
Good job, Georgia.
How did you
tell her what you need a lie for.
Well, Charlie called me to have dinner with him or meet up with him that night.
Okay, but how Charlie wouldn't know without somehow Sigfredo, whether you knew it was Sigfredo that did it or not. Somehow Sigfredo had to reach out to you because neither one of him nor Charlie had any communication with each other.
We already had this conversation. You went and met with Sigfredo when he got back, and then you went to Charlie's house. The cell phone records show you go up there and meet with him.
Okay, if I met up with
the man that you hear talking is the man that was on the stand day before yesterday. The agent, the one who's grinning as he goes, "Oh, maybe. I guess it's possible. I don't know. He totally knew they were caught. He totally knew. Now he's saying to Katie, you're lying. Like, we brought you all the way down here. Where's the lie? Why are you doing this? Just give us the information." Georgia is saying, Katie, we need you to lie about this. Katie, this is what we need you to say. Katie, we need information in this way so we can finish what is going to be a sham prosecution of a young dentist. Katie doesn't know what she's talking about. Look at the look on her face.
Conversation. You still deny it.
I'm not. It's not that I'm denying the situation.
Yeah. All right. Hang on a second. Let's step out.
Okay, now Georgia is going to take the agent outside, and she's going to say, you know what? I think it'd be better if you're not here. Why? Why does Georgia not want him there? Because he is putting pressure on Katie, and he's saying, tell the truth. You're lying, and we know you're lying. Georgia's going, holy shit, of course she's lying, but I need her to say XYZ. I need her to lie more. So when they come back in, it's only going to be Georgia. The agent is magically, I don't know, it's his lunch hour maybe. Georgia sits down and says, don't worry, Katie. I know you were just nervous. That's why you couldn't remember anything. Sorry about my alerts here. That's why you couldn't remember anything. That's why, you don't have any answers for me. Maybe Georgia doesn't really, want him there demanding truth when what she needs is a story. We heard her at the beginning of this live saying, I don't have any evidence. I can't prosecute the Adelsons because I have no evidence. Katie is there to give evidence. It doesn't matter if it's a lie or not. Prison for life. Georgia is telling her what she needs. She's saying to Katie, tell me about this. I don't don't have any of this information. Basically, she's saying, I need you to connect Charlie Adelson to this murder. And Katie's going, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. Why? Why doesn't Katie know? You think Katie wouldn't remember talking to the man that gave her money? We know that she had money because Lewis said that he got $37,000, which is a third of, the 100,000 plus that Charlie said he had in his safe. People are going, what? He doesn't. No one has $100,000 in a home safe. You want to bet? These doctors, these guys they're making a lot of money, and a lot of people do not trust the United States government, and a lot of people take cash and they buy gold, or they buy silver, or they buy firearms, they buy land. Of course, a physician has got a safe that is filled with cash. Of course they do. And there's nothing nefarious about it. It's nothing illegal or bad intentions. It's their way of life. It's not like that for regular people who are living paycheck to paycheck. But I know these guys. I understand how they're billing out $1,000, $5,000 an hour, depending on what surgery they're doing at any given time. Charlie Adelson, being a periodontist, he's getting, a lot of people are just paying him outright cash, not insurance. This young woman does not know what they are asking her for, because Charlie Adelson never ordered the hit on Dan Markle. It was all about kill Dan Markle, put the pressure on Charlie. Charlie has the cash. Georgia doesn't want the agent in there demanding truth. She doesn't want truth. She wants evidence. She wants to be able to put somebody on the stand that says, oh, definitely Charlie Adelson was there. He totally did this. It doesn't have to be believable or not. It's just terrible. This is terrible, people.
It is said that the eyes are the windows into the soul, revealing character, heart, and charm, which begs the question.
Trying to move ahead because Georgia's out for a long time. They're having an argument. The agent's going, Georgia, she didn't know anything. Georgia's saying, sure she does. She's just nervous. We just need to give her an eider down quilt and fluff her pillows up so she can feel safe.
I just
look at her. She's going, Georgia, I don't know anything.
To speak about, like, I don't even want to go through this all over again. And I feel comfortable talking to you and Miss Bennett, but every single time I feel like there's just this tension. And I don't.
What if I just let Sherry sit here? What if we just let Sherry talk to you? And then I understand talking to three of us is stressful. If the biggest thing is what we're discussing is either just pulling the plug and saying we're done with this, or how to move forward. What if we send Sherry and just you and Sherry talk? Would that be better?
I mean, yeah, it's just that I don't want to be like, this is my whole situation is like, I feel like it's not that I'm getting cornered, but it's like, it's
not getting cornered.
It's not like, I know what I know. And I feel like some type of pressure of like, okay, that I should know more. If I knew more, this would be a lot easier. And this would be
I don't think it's as much as knowing. I think it's you understanding where your responsibility was in this situation.
Yes.
And
wait a minute. It's not about what she knows? Really? I think that's exactly what it's about, isn't it? Don't you want her to tell the truth about what she knows? He's saying, oh no, it's not about what you know. It's not about knowing. It's just about your situation. Like, what is your position in this as the middleman between Charlie Adelson and the killers? And we need you to say that Charlie Adelson told you to go kill Dan Marco. So no, it's not about what you know, Katie. You don't have to know everything. Just your position as the middleman. I'm telling you guys, how many times have you heard me take the case of the defendant in these cases? How many times? This man is, it's not, oh, they're going to find him not guilty. I'm being clear. This guy, Charlie Adelson, had no idea what in the world was going on when that bump happened. He had no idea. He literally says to his mom, well, so like, was it the IRS? And then when she says something about cash, she's like, Mom, are you being blackmailed? Like, what the hell did you do? Are there naked photos of you out on the internet, Mom? What did you do? He did not know. This young woman right here is telling you she doesn't know because it never happened. She is the extorter. She, along with the Latin kings that she's in bed with every night, her Zigfredo and his friend Louis, they concocted the plan. This is my mark. He's never going to marry me. That is for certain. And this is my one chance that I've ever had. This is the one time in my life I have been this close to real wealth. I am not walking away from this without old Katie getting a payday. No way in hell. She is living among the most ruthless and notorious violent gang in South Florida. For them to say, well, how are we going to get the guy to turn his money over? He's not just going to say, oh, here's some money out of the goodness of his heart. How are we going to get him to do it? And Katie says, well, you know, there's the brother-in-law. He's really mad at him because he's really being really mean to his sister and it's really bad. We could knock him off and then tell him that we have the evidence that he's the one that did it or his sister did it. And if we scare him enough, maybe he'll give us some money. That's the way it went down. And if Katie really was, oh, this honest, wonderful young woman, she would be telling that. But you are hearing her in her own words. I don't know. I don't know. I have a dilemma. What's the dilemma, Katie? Well, the dilemma is Charlie Adelson and I never talked about killing Dan Markle. So how am I supposed to know the story of what he said and did to me? Well, how am I supposed to know that? Because that never happened. It was me and Sigfredo and Louis that killed the guy as leverage to force Charlie to pay up. They didn't ask him for $1 million. They asked for what she thought he had in his safe. This is a travesty. Like this is scary that this is happening to an American citizen. I'm, domestic violence, the whole thing. I am all in. I think cops 9 times out of 10, they absolutely get it right. I think they got it wrong on this one, y'all. I think they got it wrong. And I think that agent that was pressing Katie and saying, you're lying to us, you need to come clean, you need to tell the truth. And then immediately, it's not Georgia, it's the other girl. Sherry gets up and says, out. No, I want her talking. It's terrible. And I'm going to say, I've said this before and I'll say it again. What if it was your son? What if it was your son who was being tried with this evidence, that this is the star witness against your son, would you believe her? You've only listened to just maybe 20% of this total interview. It gets worse from here in terms of her. I don't know. Maybe he said kill her, maybe. Oh, yes. Yes, Katie, he said that. Yes. And he said that. Did he say that in April? Yes. He said it in April? Yes, Katie. Yes. He said it in April. Yes. Would you want a loved one prosecuted with this woman as the star witness for the prosecution? Just what little bit you've watched. This wasn't about a better or good proffer. This was about tying Charlie Adelson to the death of Dan Markle, because that was the big fish. That is what wins elections. I believe that in my heart. I don't mean that Georgia is a cold-hearted psychopath. I don't mean any of that. I mean, maybe she legitimately believes in her heart and soul that the Adelsons were involved. Maybe she believes that heart and soul, but we heard her own mouth say, I don't have the evidence. I don't have the evidence. Neither did Katie Magbanua. She didn't have the evidence either. I'm going to switch over now to the trial, and we'll come back and do the proffer. We'll finish the proffer later on this afternoon. Oh, wait. Sorry. And you're exactly right. I am incredibly passionate about this case. Oh no, not again. Not again. Don't do this. Grr. Yep, your browser has blacked your screen. Click the screen icon. All right, hopefully that fixed my problem. Let's see. Fingers crossed. It did not. Nope. Okay, I'm going to have to end the live and come back. Okay? I will be logging in on a different live. Okay? Like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Bye.